Well, Dunedin councillor Colin Weatherall has called time on 30 years of public life. During his 5 terms as a city councillor, he's led the Resource Consent Hearings Committee that's ruled on almost 1,000 applications. And Councillor Weatherall joins us tonight for a look back on his time with council. Good evening, Colin. So tell us, first of all, the reason behind your decision not to stand again this year.
Well, I guess we all have to decide at some stage when enough is enough. And I certainly want to go before I start to go down the scale on the other side of the hill. And I think it's time to move on. It's either now or in 3 years' time. And I think now's the right time. Feels right. The city's in good hands. It's time for some new blood. When I joined City 15 years ago, there was 7 new councillors, and it's time for some new ones to join us.
So tell us about your time in council and the various roles that you've had in that time.
Well, I've been lucky, I guess, 15 years on the city and 15, 16 years prior to that in community boards and community councils and the former authorities. I guess the day after I was elected, and I was lucky enough to be elected ahead of 2 existing councillors of the day in the Green Island Saddle Hill ward, who've been very loyal and supportive of me. I got a call from the then Mayor, Suki Tura, and said, I want to see you on Sunday. And she's got a role for me, and it was chairing the hearings committee. And I said, well, why? And I've been absolutely delighted with the support she gave me. Then obviously Chim's the next mayor, and now Dave Cole. So I've been extremely well supported. So
looking back on that time, stands out for you? What was the most satisfying achievement?
Well, I guess the piece that I'm so most passionate about is one, serving the community, looking after the people that I represent. Both initially Green Island, Saddle Hill, and now the wider city as the central ward from the last election. So people contact, continuity, dealing with them, not always satisfying them, not always giving them what they need, but working at least to try and get some answers for them. And then, of course, the area I've specialised in resource management, and I've been extremely lucky to have the privilege of working in that area.
When you look back, is there anything maybe, any decisions you may have changed, anything you'd do differently?
There's a couple of things, Callum. One is that I've always had a saying, and I say it at every hearing, I guess, maybe 1 or 2 to go, is that please leave the hearing forum knowing you've been heard. You may not like our decision, but you've been heard, so we'll consider what you've said to us. So that's the first thing. Process, I've been extremely lucky that I haven't had a procedural attack on us. I haven't lost one of those for the city, so that's a process thing, so I feel pretty comfortable about that. But a number of our decisions have been appealed and turned over to the Environment Court. Sometimes we've made Environment Court a new rules for the country, and not only Dunedin, but for the country. So I've been involved in a number of those. But there are a few decisions in hindsight, if we'd done them differently, but that's the experience of years, I suppose, going back saying, well, if we'd done this, we could have done that. Didn't. Have to live with that and go forward. Of course, there was the very high-profile stadium decision. That was a project you supported. What are your thoughts on the facility now and how that's developed? Yeah, well, I guess I come briefly with an extremely heavy sports background and having been chairman of both the Highlands and Otago during those pre-stadium years. Might have been the 8th vote, excuse me, across the line in the end when it went through. But it was the right thing to do. Certainly reflecting back now it is. There were some lessons we should have done and should have known, and we could have done better. Not about the facility itself, but how we put the package together and sold the package. But now we need to make it work for the city, work for the community on the wider scale, and it's an asset that we've got for the next 40 years. What does the future hold now for Colin Weatherall? Well, no more boards or committees? Well, yeah, no, there's a few of those. I've got a couple of other passions of life. I'm heavily involved in surf lifesaving nationally and locally in my own club and on a national scene. I hope to continue as a Resource Consent Commissioner in some capacity, somewhere, sometime. And just take a bit of time for my family. My wife has been hugely supportive over all our married life for public service, my family and my grandies. And I just want to go and spend a bit of time with them. But I don't have to be an elected member to serve my city and my community. I can do that from another pace, and I look forward to doing what I can in our great city. Well, congratulations on your service to Dunedin, Colin, and thanks for joining us this evening. An absolute pleasure. Dunedin councillor Colin Weatherall. After the break on 39 Dunedin News.